Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, friends from all over the world. We have with us in India in this function Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Vijay Chauthaiwala, Consultant, Healthcare Biotech, Ambassador Ms. Renu Paul, Additional Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, Dr. Akhilesh Gupta, Head, STIP 2020, Secretariat, Department of Science and Technology, distinguished members of the Indian diaspora joining us on call for the interactive session, a large number of members of the Indian diaspora and other participants who are watching this program live from across the country and the world, our dear science counselors from all across the world. I have the physical presence of Ms. Nanu Bhasin, ADG PIB, with me, along with a few media personnel here and all the other media personnel who have joined the program virtually. Moderators of the session, Dr. Chagun Pasha and Dr. Radhika Trikha, team of STIP 2020 Secretariat, ladies and gentlemen, my greetings to all of you. First of all, let me extend my apologies to all of you because I know unfortunately this program had to be postponed a couple of times, and every time we had fixed up a time, we had informed all of you all across the world, but then at the last moment there were extremely unavoidable reasons for which the program had to be postponed. But thank God today we are doing this program, which for me is one of the most important activity which is going to contribute very, very significantly to the formulation of the STIP 2020 policy, which is going to lead us to a new India in 2022 and of course an India in 2030 where the science in India shall be amongst the topmost in the whole world as per the dream of our Prime Minister. Today it is fortunately for us a very, very pious day, and I think a great day for seeking inspiration from the life of the great Bharat Ratna, our only Nobel laureate in science, Dr. C.V. Raman. I start by paying my heartfelt tributes to his memory on behalf of all of you, all the scientific community and others in India and all across the world. Friends, India is a diverse country with unique strengths, challenges and opportunities for growth. Science, technology and innovation can act as the unifying force that aids in overcoming these challenges and concerns. The current pandemic stands witness to the immediate need for indigenous science, technology and innovation development and growth, which is pertinent to address the Prime Minister's clarion call for an Atmanirbhar Bharat. India prides itself on having a diaspora empire on which the sun never sets. The Indian diaspora has been a source of remittances, technology and intellectual power. Ever since the Indian economy was liberalized and began to grow at a rapid pace, the massive number of diaspora became a strong pillar of the Indian economy. The significant contributions of the large and highly skilled Indian diaspora communities in forging the development of Indian IT and biotech industry is well recognized by now. We acknowledge the huge untapped potential of the diaspora and aim at connecting with them back to Indian scientific and economic ecosystem. Reinforcing this engagement will enable India to leverage its science and technology expertise across the globe for robust growth in all areas of science, technology, and innovation. Indian scientific diaspora is considered one of the most vibrant diaspora communities around the world. People of Indian origin holding leadership roles in academia, industry, and also the government, even in some of the technologically most advanced countries, are revealing evidence of that. There is a huge potential in connecting and engaging with the Indian scientific diaspora, not only for the benefit of our national development, but also for global development. Indian diaspora is a major stakeholder in the science, technology, innovation policy process, and today's consultation aims at generating and streamlining key areas in the making of STIP 2020. It is important to build policy level mechanisms to create suitable opportunities for attracting best talents back home, and also to create facilitating channels for the diaspora to contribute in national development from their respective locations. The upcoming policy aims to address both first and second generation diaspora by facilitating institutional mechanisms for engagement with Indian ecosystem. After independence, science and technology became a major focus area for the national building process. Four national policies: Science Policy Resolution of 1958, Technology Policy Statement of 1983, Science and Technology Policy of 2003, and Science, Technology and Innovation Policy of STIP 2013 in the area of science and technology are the milestones in the evolution of India's STI ecosystem. The past few years have witnessed accelerated national growth, placing India as the global science, technology, innovation leader. There has been a significant rise in the country's performance in terms of publications, patents, and quality of research publications. Per capita R&D expenditure has also increased with greater participation from the private sector. Participation of women in extramural R&D projects has almost doubled. India is also actively engaged in emerging technologies such as nanotechnology. Our capacity in inclusive and frugal innovation has been recognized globally. As India and the world reorient in the present context of the COVID-19 crisis, a landmark policy initiative, Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2020, has been initiated. The core vision of STIP 2020 is the decentralization of policy designing by making it a bottom-up and inclusive process. It aims to realign priorities, sectoral focus, and methods of research and technology development with the goals of larger socio-economic progress. The proposed Science, Technology, Innovation Policy is expected to leverage the astounding progress that the STI system has witnessed in recent years and build a long-term pathway which must be able to fulfill the dreams and aspirations of millions of young Indian scientists and students. This can be done only when we make policy formulation totally inclusive and participatory. The Vaibhav Summit and the recently launched dedicated one-stop platform for science and technology diaspora engagement, Prabhas, are some of the proactive steps in this direction. This shows the Government of India's active pursuit in this engagement. Scientific diaspora contributes a lot in both internalization internationalization of science and technology development, and boosting the country's technology intensity. With the right kind of policy instruments in place, engagement with the diaspora can help us attract global best talents to contribute to our national science technology innovation ecosystem and enable creating a critical mass of skilled human resources for a knowledge based economy. There is a need to establish and strengthen formal institutional mechanisms for engaging Indian diaspora. These mechanisms will facilitate the integration of the diaspora community with the Indian ecosystem by creating suitable opportunities for the returning diaspora as well as facilitating channels for non-returning diaspora to contribute back to the country. I look forward to having an interesting session with the diaspora community wherein we will welcome your suggestions and discuss a host of issues. We have a distinguished panel of eminent scientists and diplomats like Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Dr. Vijay Chothaiwala and Ambassador Renu Paul to respond to some of the queries and comments that you may have on STI related issues and the STI policy. I would encourage all of you to come forward and post your suggestions live. Our STIP 2020 Secretariat will collect them and consider including them in the draft STI policy. I once again welcome all the dignitaries, representatives of the Indian diaspora, and other senior officials for joining today's meeting. I look forward to a fruitful deliberation and sincerely hope there would be some tangible outcome from the discussion. Thank you. Jai Hind. You see, it's really beyond my vocabulary to express my happiness and satisfaction because the comments that have been made by very important, very senior, very experienced, very committed and sincere people working in the field of science and representing India all over the world from all parts of the globe, I think it speaks volumes about their commitment for the country and the type of good work that they are doing and their passion also for improvement of things in India, and they are also equally passionate as our Prime Minister to ensure that India becomes one of the top 2-3 scientific nations in another 10 years from now, because all of them had been very, very sincere in their comments. If I have to quickly recall, I think the first comment that came was from Dr. Tiwari, and he has rightly, Dr. Tripathi, he has rightly reminded us about involving the social scientists in the whole scheme of things. Although we are already, you see, our Prime Minister has always been talking about the scientific social responsibility. We have always been impressing upon people that it's not about the definition of impact factor, how many times it is read by people, but how much it actually impacts the lives of the people. How does it solve the problems of the people? How does it alleviate the sufferings of the people? And right now we are in a stage where there is a cabinet note around the scientific social responsibility, and of course the suggestion that has been given about institutionalizing the involvement of the social scientists in the, not only in the formulation of the scientific policy but also in involving them in our day-to-day working. I think that really is a very good suggestion. On most of the issues, I find that the thoughts of our Indian scientists across the globe, they gel quite well with the vision of our Prime Minister and with the thinking that our present people in the science ministry actually enjoy. And these are exactly the same lines on which we are trying to. I have to thank Dr. Vijay Saraswat. He said we have to in the modern era, it's not should it should with the type of technology now that we have, and the way COVID has actually reminded us that this was the way to connect with the people. This is not that COVID has brought this way to connect with people, but it has reminded us that this is a useful way of connecting. And he has very rightly said that in the modern era we have to keep engaging worldwide with our scientists, and I think that's a very beautiful suggestion. It should not be once in a year itself, and it's of course to improve the scale of thought. And he has said that then he suggested about this should be reflected in scaling up the Fulbright scholarships, etc. And I strongly feel that with our consulars there, with our diplomats in all the countries, and of course with the Indian scientists involved with all the good institutions all over the world, the Science and Technology Ministry here should try for future to institutionalize a good quality official connect with every scientist, every Indian scientist who is a member of the Indian diaspora all across the world. And I think this we should take up as a challenge. We should develop our scientists in various countries as the leaders there, who would, apart from doing science, who would organize this part of the activity also for the Indian science. And I think if we fix up a tenure of say 365 days to organize everyone all across the world, I think that would yield very rich dividends. Dr. Bipashi Ghosh, I think she has very rightly reminded us about the importance of social innovation and also the role of ecological innovation. And I think the engagement of interdisciplinary scholars from the diaspora. So these are very, very important points. Mr. Mushir Ahmed, he has again highlighted, which we have also been facing as a problem also, and which we also have been time and again impressing upon the scientific community, that research, if it remains confined to the laboratories, and if it doesn't get commercialized, if it doesn't get transferred to the industry, if it doesn't get transferred to the people of India for being used for their the outcome of research to be used by them for improving their life, then it has no meaning. So he has very rightly reminded us about it. And then about the industry CSR activities to be more focused about that Professor Raghavan said that this is already there, but I think the point that has been made, it needs to be, I think, strengthened quite a bit, that the industry CSR activities have to be strengthening the research within the universities. And also he has said about enabling the startups who want to go and engage abroad. They should also be supported in big way for export of technology. Then Mr. Ashish Mishra, he has very rightly pointed out about the strengthening of the scientific thought process at the rural level, the panchayat level. And I think anything when we deliberate, and if we don't remember Professor Kalam, I think that meeting is not worth it. I think he has rightly reminded us about that. And for using the Indian youth workforce for helping the global economy also. And then he has mentioned about the funding of innovators. So I must tell you that last couple of years we have been organizing these India International Science Festivals, and at that level also, from the villages and from the adopted villages of the parliamentarians, we make sure that we have students coming and participating in these India International Science Fest. So there is a bit of a thought around that, but this definitely we would like to institutionalize as suggested by Ashish Mishra. Dr. Avijit Banik, he has highlighted the need for structural reforms. And then Dr. Hem Prabha, you have of course very rightly pointed out that the potential of the science graduates and the postgraduates, it has to be actually optimally utilized. Right now she is right that it is not utilized, and the way she has suggested that they have to be involved in public service projects with the involvement of the government there, and of course the internship for these students in various fields, I think it's a perfect and a very very bright useful suggestion. Dr. Umesh Mukhi, I think his concern around the foreign policy has been very elaborately addressed by Madam Renu Paul ji. So I may not mention about it, but he has, I think, very rightly said that it's not only for India but for a global approach. We need stronger and better collaboration and a larger aspects of the foreign policy, more particularly for the African and the Latin American nations, and the presence of science diplomats. I think the issue has been addressed by her. Dr. Bhagirath Singh, I am so happy that he has spoken about health research, because I, being a health professional, that is my first passion. But after having come to science and having enjoyed and seen science from the closest of quarters, I now consider that it is probably the greatest blessing in disguise of my life, and I am strongly convinced that science can help everything, every problem on earth, it can be solved with the help of science. And for health, this could be the greatest boon. Science, and that's why the way he mentioned about COVID and health policy research, health innovations, and for diagnosis, treatment, public health, I think that's, and he has very strongly expressed the hope that India has the potential to lead. Then Amit Tiwari ji, thank you so much that you have sent our appeal to a large number of students who are associated with your organization, and your the summary of the suggestions that you have received from them regarding improving the research culture and the infrastructure in the institutions, about decentralization and the entrepreneurship approach, and then of course partnership between the universities of UK and India, and of course the industries and the commercial industries in India, the public sector and the private sector industries. I think these are all very well-meaning suggestions, and the way they have come from the students. And I am sure that this whatever we have seen just now, it's just only the tip of the iceberg. Ultimately, with so many suggestions that have come, that are coming, that are flowing, this interaction with diaspora will prove to be a great, I think, help and support in drafting a very vibrant and a very dynamic policy. Professor Prakash Kumar, you have spoken about, that's also a fantastic point, that unless that is also true, that somebody who doesn't get a job anywhere, ultimately he becomes a teacher. And if he becomes a science teacher without any passion and without any professional way of teaching or attracting the students, I think that may not help in ultimately developing good, great scientists, the good, great C.V. Ramans and the Jagdish Chandra Bose of future. So the suggestion about strengthening professionally how we inculcate this scientific temper amongst the students, and the quality of science and research, and the fantastic bright suggestion about these IPL of cricket being sort of replicated in field of science as science IPLs with you see quality hiring and where diaspora people can also participate. This is also a great suggestion. Mr. Subramaniam Natarajan, you have talked about strengthening the overall ecosystem and the industry and the startups and all the other relevant people, the Professor Murthy and others. I think everyone has the time doesn't permit me to talk in detail about each and every suggestion that you have, but it certainly convinces me that people across the globe, you see, this is just a representative sample. You have a very clear thoughts and very penetrative vision about what India should be doing, and I think this is not the end of it. This is just a very small, humble beginning that we made through this meeting for the diaspora, and you know that already India has made huge strides in the field of science, and that is reflected in our, you see, recognition all over the world. When we say that in number of publications in SCI journals, from 6th position all over the world in 2013, we have come down to 3rd position now. We have come down to 3rd position in number of PhDs. It's almost producing 25,000 PhDs every year. That is just after America, which is producing 39,000, and China, which is producing 34,000 PhDs. We are producing 25,000. That's the 3rd position again. We are 3rd in the world in higher education systems. We are 3rd in the world in number of startups. We are 3rd in the world in the number of unicorns. And you know that the Global Innovation Index in the last 5 years, from 81 ranking, we have come down to 48th. And in ease of doing business, in the last 6 years, from 142, we have climbed down to 63. I think that's so much of, you see, rise and improvement. Women participation in R&D has already doubled. We have 3.4 lakh R&D personnel, and 40%, that's a 40% increase from 2014 when Prime Minister Narendra Modi took over. So, and it's not only here, but even in our CSIR laboratories, in a list of almost 1200 institutions all over the world, which are supported by public money for doing research, producing innovation, technology, and delivering it to the industry and then to the people. We have a ranking which is between 10 and 15. Sometimes it becomes 9, sometimes it goes up to 15. So that is in a list of over 1200. That's the international ranking that we enjoy in CSIR. And then because this function is dedicated for the Indian diaspora, I have to just tell you that there are so many innovative schemes that we have developed over the last 5 years under Prime Minister Modi to ensure that we are able to attract the scientists in the diaspora to come back to India, and there is a significant, perceptible, measurable change. It's no longer a brain drain. It is now a brain gain in the country. And we have schemes like Vajra, which is the Visiting Advanced Joint Research Faculty Scheme. We have schemes like Gyan, Global Initiative for Academic Networks. We have schemes like Spark, Scheme for Promotion of Academia and Research Collaborations. We have schemes like Ramanujan Fellowships. We have schemes like Rama Lingaswamy Re-Entry Fellowships. We have schemes like Inspire Faculty Awards. We have opportunities in bilateral programs through the bilateral projects which are supported by the international division of our DST, our Department of Biotechnology, and our Ministry of Earth Sciences. So there are so many activities which are happening inside India for people like you, and I would like to use this occasion to also offer to you on behalf of our Prime Minister that there is so much that has changed in the country in the last 5-6 years. There is so much that has developed in science and in our institutions and in our laboratories for you people to not only support from there. You can come here permanently, you can come here temporarily, you can be supported by any of these schemes, or maybe you can suggest some better schemes where ultimately we want every Indian all across the globe in science to be working there, because we always believe in India that science, it could be done locally, but it is for the whole world. Its benefits and fruits have to be enjoyed by the whole world. So even if you are working there, you are working for us, we know. So we would love to have more and more suggestions how the Indian scientific department or our policy can help you to help humanity and also help back India. Those are some of those suggestions that we would further like to explore, and as suggested by you people also, and as our wishes also in that direction, we would like to, in the new policy, institutionalize our mechanism to remain in contact with the scientific community, at least of Indians all across the world, all the time, all across the year. That's our desire, that's our wish, and that's, I think, going to be our vision, and that's what the Prime Minister also wants. So with these, I think, few words, once again I express my gratitude to all of you on behalf of, and of course, not only to the speakers who have spoken today, but of course to everyone who is connected to this program, or who may not have got himself connected, but who has his feelings for India and for Indian science. We express our gratitude to all of you, and we promise you that we will give you back a science, technology, innovation policy 2020, which has never been seen, never been heard of. And this science policy of 2020 is certainly going to drive India towards a new India in 2022, in Atmanirbhar Bharat in the near future, and of course a Vishwa Guru Bharat in the next one decade. So with these few words, once again, thank you, namaskar, Jai Hind, Bharat Mata ki Jai.